this is Krieg's. This is Joshua Krieger at Krieg Sports Talk, and today I'd like to do a weekly recap. So here in this weekly recap, I'm going to take some stories and talk about what I think about them, and I'm feeling I'm going to do this on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I'll post this video. So the first story I'm going to talk about is James Harden. He scored 61 points against the Knicks on Wednesday or Thursday, and I was looking at the stat sheet. It was 5 of 20 from 3, and he had 22 out of 25 free throws. And what's interesting is the Knicks, they only had 30 free throws combined. And he's put together this run, 18 straight 30-plus points games. This is his fifth 50-point game. But here's what, not discounting James Harden for what he's done, but he's had the highest usage rate this season. Now, I realize CP3 and Clint Capella are playing right now, but he's 61 points. Can't you? And he didn't have any assists in this game. You score 61 points and you don't have one assist. So, not discounting what James Harden did, but he's kind of not comparing him to Westbrook when he had his high usage rate. They're kind of the same player. But I don't think he's going to be able to do this in the playoffs. He's had this level of success, and he hasn't been able to do this in the playoffs. So I don't think any of this would make me feel like he can do this in the playoffs. Now, the next thing I would like to talk about is Victor Oladipo. Now, Victor Oladipo on Thursday or Wednesday night, he ruptured his quad tendon in his right knee. Now, this is big for the Pacers. They were the third seed. You would think Celtics, 76ers, they would be the third seed, but no, it's the Pacers. And he's put up 18.8 points, 5.6 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 1.7 steals, and he's led the Pacers in scoring 7 times. And don't forget, this dude's one of the most clutch scorers in the game right now. I think he's 4th. And I just don't think they're going to be able to put together this level of success. And you would have thought Pacers, who knows, maybe they'll upset the 76ers. Ben Simmons can't shoot. How are Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid going to play together? So this has big implications for the playoff race for the Eastern Conference. And now really, maybe the Pacers could win a series, but I don't see them doing that well. Now, this is kind of just an interesting story coming out. During the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead Stadium, there's pictures of a laser pointing at Tom Brady's head, Tom Brady's helmet. And here's an interesting point. When Tom Brady, the Patriots, they've had scandals. Deflategate, Spygate. They've had some cheating instances. But what if this game was in Foxborough? Imagine the backlash that would happen. Just imagine. What would we call this? Laser point gates? Imagine if this was Patrick Mahomes in Foxborough. And this kind of just shows the double standard. I realize people are sick of Brady's greatness and what he's been able to accomplish with the Patriots. But that's just kind of an interesting story that I'd like to talk about. But just think for a second, imagine if this was in Foxborough and there was a laser pointing at Patrick Mahomes. Just think what would happen. Now, another story, now that we're talking about the Patriots, is some people were saying Tom Brady might retire this season. I really don't think that's going to happen. I realize Tom Brady's an old person. In football, I mean, people live to their 80s, but football years, he's been playing a long time. But the Patriots, they got 12 picks this year, and when you think about it, this is probably Tom Brady's worst team he's taken to the playoffs. How many Pro Bowlers do they have on that defense? Stephon Gilmore, maybe? And let's be honest, that wide receiving core, besides Julian Edelman, I mean, Rob Gronkowski is a shell of himself. It's just hard to believe that this is Brady's best team. And, I mean, they got the best coach. Bill Belichick hasn't lost his way. I know people like Skip Bayless on Undisputed. It's like Bill Belichick's lost his way on defense, which maybe he's done that in a way, but he's still the best coach in the league. And kind of my last point, people like the league's moving towards Brady. Pocket passers, people that don't make turnovers, and that's kind of what Tom Brady's done. I mean, out of the 3 out of 4 players, they were in the playoffs, they were pocket passers. Drew Brees is maybe the best pocket passer we've ever seen, next to Brady. Jared Goff, he can make a lot of throws, but he's more of a pocket passer. Even though he can't go outside the pocket, he's more of a pocket passer. But what's interesting is the league has moved to these pocket passers. And I'm just going to throw a couple names out that didn't make the playoffs that you would say are my gunslingers. Ben Roethlisberger and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, I watch all Aaron Rodgers games. I'm a Packer fan. And when you notice, especially when he's playing the Seahawks, he's going for the deep ball. He has Aaron Jones wide open, but he's trying to aim for that deep ball. He's trying to do too much. Same thing with Ben Roethlisberger. They had all those big splash plays, but that they didn't make it to the playoffs. So I think Brady's not going to retire. They're going to load back up on defense, and the league's going towards Brady's game. And now the last story could have the most impact on the league, and it's the NFL wants to now change the rules to where you can review pass interference. And really, the league's trying to make up for the Saints' loss in that blown call during the Saints. And I was there and I was like, man, they really blew that call. And they did. He was wide open. Rams players have said it. But not to say the Saints got away with stuff too. So I think what this is going to mean for the league is if they decide to review pass interference, and I feel it's going to be used too much. I feel that Nick Wright said on First Things First, he said, if you do this, they're going to just keep reviewing. Any big play, they're going to review it. And I tend to agree they're probably going to overuse this this rule. And any coach can just challenge a big play, say, oh, I'm going to challenge that person was grabbing and holding. And I just don't think it would be great for the league. I feel you're trying to make up for that lost play, but come on. I feel Saints fans are going to have to get over that. It was probably the biggest blown call in sports history that I can think of, but sometimes you gotta let things go. So that's the first of my news weekly recap. No, all these stories I talked about, I feel they could be really impacting the league, except the laser pointing story. I think that's pretty interesting. So please subscribe, like the video, turn your post notifications on. I plan on next weekend doing a video just like this weekly recap. And if there's other stories, if I get enough stories, send in the comments that you'd like me to talk about, then I'll talk about those. So have a good day, and I'll see you in that next video.